Hello! A video a little different from my usual stuff. This will be a tutorial and shop with me / walkthrough on how to buy using a proxy. The folks at Buyee, a proxy I've used in the past, offered me free shipping on anything I purchased using their service in exchange for a review. The pandemic has caused me to be a lot more frugal, hence why I haven't been buying as much collectibles, so I thought it would be a great chance to film the shop with me video I've always wanted to do, in addition to getting items for my wish list. The process turned out a little more complicated than usual, but it's a learning experience, so I consider that valuable, especially for this video. They've also included a 2,000 yen coupon for anyone who signs up, of which I'll leave a code for in the description. For anyone not familiar with proxy services, they're essentially a service you pay to buy things for you from overseas shops that don't ship internationally. Most also have varying extra services you can pay extra for, such as protective packing and package consolidation. If you're not interested in watching me ramble as I look for items to add to my cart, then feel free to skip to this timestamp to see what I purchased. Okay everyone, so long story short, the original recording that I recorded for this portion of the video, it was too long. I couldn't cut it down properly. Sort of shorten this video, I'm going to re-record it. Unfortunately, some items have since gone out of stock, but here is basically what I purchased. This one is from Suruga-Ya. This was from Mercari, and then there's the book that I bought straight from Rakuten. So we'll start with the art books. The art books I kind of cheated. Honestly, I originally found them in Kunio bookstore. So if you don't know what that is, it's a Japanese bookstore. They have multiple locations across the United States, and there is one near me. So I like to go in there and just browse. And then if I see something that I like, I usually take a picture of the barcode on the back, search that up, and then it'll give me multiple options usually. So one of the books that I looked for was this one right here. And I managed to find the same book on both Rakuten, Amazon Japan, as well as Suruga-Ya. Suruga-Ya had the cheapest price, and I didn't really want to buy from Amazon. But what I often like to do, and I'll show you, I kind of tried to recreate my cart, so it'll have some stuff missing, but this is basically what I did. Wherever I found the item that I wanted, I would put it in my cart just so I could go back later and see what was the cheapest, what was the cheapest price and what would be the cheapest to get. Because one important thing that I like to consider is whether or not the shop allows for free shipping if you buy over a certain amount. Rakuten, I believe, also does it over a certain amount. For example, this book, which I bought from Rakuten, is free. But I ended up getting this book, as well as majority of them, straight from Suruga-Ya just because it was cheapest. You kind of want to get the least amount of packages as possible. One, it'll save on shipping, and two, if you can, you won't have to consolidate anything. I went with consolidation this time because I'm stupid, and I'll explain later, but let's keep going. So I found this book right here. It was 2,500 yen, and since I recorded that first portion for this video, Suruga-Ya has actually updated their site. So to me, it's really important you use a computer to do all this shopping, because on a mobile it can be very confusing. I like to have everything all at once in one screen. So here you can see, if you Google Translate it, the price. You can add it to cart. Be very careful because Suruga-Ya's green button, if you don't Google Translate it, is actually to add it to your wish list. Whereas their orange button is the one to add to the cart. I have an account, and I've had an account for years, so I can actually shop around and put stuff on a watch list so that I get a notification if something comes in stock. So there is the favorites list. It tells you free shipping and cash on delivery over 999 yen, which is about $10. It tells you that it is used, so Suruga-Ya sells new things as well as old things. So you can find a lot of old merchandise on here, which is why I love shopping from there. And then they've added this new thing where you can buy from specific shops in Japan, but the prices vary and so do the conditions, so I try not to really touch that. And then there's like customer reviews at the bottom. That was not there before. I'm trying to rush through this so I don't take too long. Here's the other book that I bought. This one I actually did find on eBay a long time ago in English. I don't remember the name of it. Let me Google Translate. And I will link to all this stuff in the description if y'all want to purchase it for yourself. But I did actually find this book a long time ago, so it was very easy for me to find. If you know the author name or the title of the book, I think author name is best because the title of the books in Japanese may mix with other titles of books. So I think author name is the best. And, the best option is to have the barcode already. Okay, so when it comes to anime merchandise, it's very easy to find things. You can just go online and look up the company, such as Sanrio or SanX. For My Hero Academia, you could just go online and look up My Hero Academia, and Wikipedia will give you the Japanese characters for it. And if you just copy paste that and type it into Suruga-Ya or any of these shops that I'm showing you, then I mean, it's fairly simple to just browse around. If you're looking for something specific, for example, I was looking for this particular figure, then I would get more specific. So let's go to Izuku Midoriya's page. Do they have the Japanese name? So usually those fan pages have the Japanese characters for the character, but that one didn't. So let's just go to my anime list, which is a great resource for anything anime. And then, so I was looking something up, so my categories are all messed up. But if you Google Translate it, the top option will always be all items. So let's type or copy paste Izuku Midoriya on there. So now we have all of the Deku stuff. Google Translate this, and I'm looking specifically for toy hobby. That's what they put their scale figures under. And we're going to choose hobby because toys are exactly what it is, toys, whereas hobby is the collectible figure. So now we have all the figures available. Actually, this one's really nice. If they have a ton of pages and you can't really find it as easily or quickly, one thing that I do remember I think I did for this particular figure is I went to AmiAmi, which is an English, or their English site for anime merchandise, and I typed in figure because I remember I had it on my list. Let's see, where is it? You guys see what I'm doing? I'm using all kinds of different resources to try and find this. This is how you find the things you want, because sometimes simple searching is not going to work. You have to give it some time to look around and see if other websites have what you want and see if they have any type of name you can copy paste and things like that, especially if you don't know the language. Oh, there's Mercari and all the My Hero Academia products. Okay, but let's copy paste this. But you'll notice this is Ochako Uraraka, and that's because I think a figure for her was released with this one. So her name is going to be in the search terms, so we don't want that. So let's delete her name from that, and maybe, oh, there it is. So here's how I found the figure, and there we go. And then one neat thing is that Buyee has an application you can put on your browser, and you can basically add stuff to your cart, because Suruga-Ya is not on their website actually, but you can still add stuff to your cart on Buyee using this. So I would just click add to Buyee cart. Hopefully you can see it, because I think earlier you were not able to see that. But if you were to have this on your browser, this extension, you would see an add to Buyee cart button, and you just click that, and then you go back to Buyee and it would be in your cart. And it's that simple. It's that simple. So what if I want to look for something specific, say that mug that I was looking for? That can get a little complicated, just because, say I was looking for one of those buttons. I tried copy pasting that into the search bar and nothing came up, whereas y'all saw before that there were tons of options of those little buttons for sale. And that's probably because they use something else, a different phrase or a different keyword to describe them. So you kind of just have to look around and see what words they use, and then just save those keywords. So they call it a can badge. So let's try can badge. Okay, that's really long. So if you have issues like that where you just know that's not what it's called, then what you can do is copy paste, translate it to English, and just start deleting stuff. So this is badge pins. Let's see if that works. We need Izuku's name again. Make sure there's a space in there. Perfect. So it's exactly what I wanted. And again, they might list the names of certain can badges differently, so it's really up to the product. But that's my method of searching for things. So now let's try looking for the mug, because what I ended up doing to find that journal is I just put Izuku Midoriya's name on there and then went to the category for stationery, and I found it. Alright, let's get to this. So to find this, I actually went to, I don't know why I put that in plural. Okay. So this mug is from a series called Natsume's Book of Friends, but it's specifically of a character called Nyanko-sensei. So I copied Nyanko-sensei into the search bar. We'll keep that open for reference. Make sure the category is all. Okay. So we have everything. And let's do this with the assumption I don't have any other extra keywords. So we have home appliances, cameras, AV equipment. Okay, so I thought this would be under household goods, but we have a tableware option. So let's do that. And there we go. It gives you all the little ceramic pieces and cups. There's a ton though. So you either look through all of this or... Oh, there we go. So there is a category for mug. You can also just go into Google and translate and find a keyword for mug. And this is basically where you just kind of have to keep looking and going back and forth. So we have a couple for the black nyanko-sensei, but it's not specifically this one. And it is in stock, so there is a way to find it again. But again, I cheated the first time because I had the name already from a Mercari listing, so I just copied that into into Suruga-Ya. And I don't want this video to be super long, but y'all basically get the gist of this, so I'm not gonna bother trying to find that specific mug. When I first started looking for squishies, it was very hard because I couldn't really find the proper keywords. And then eventually I stumbled upon a Japanese listing for it, and what I ended up doing is what y'all saw me do before. I copy pasted the entire title, went into Google Translate, and started deleting stuff. So here you see it says squeeze, so I already know what it looks like, but if I didn't, I would just start deleting characters up until all that I had left was that word, squeeze. And I've used this so much to look for squishies that I just know what it looks like, so I don't have to look for anything. So let's make sure the category is all in the top drop-down menu. And there we go, that's all the squishies. And this is a little harder to be more specific just because, again, what we would use to search for specific squishies is not necessarily what they would use on the title of this website. So let's say I just wanted a chocolate squishy. So we can copy paste chocolate. And this is fairly simple. I'm sure you'll get some results, but you may not get specific ones. So there we have all the chocolate squishies, which is not that many actually, only 2 pages, wow. But let's click on a bloom one. So you'll notice in the description we have bloom, and it's over here again as a link. So if you click that, it'll give you all the iBloom squishies available, and then up here if you Google Translate in this drop down menu here, ascending order of price, highest price, newest order of update. So this is as they're getting items in, these are the newest ones. And then the one right under that is going to be the newest released items. So here we have some new stuff from iBloom, it seems. Wow, they're the only ones making stuff. But that makes sense. I don't think Punimaru was ever popular in Japan, so I've never really seen Punimaru listed on Suruga-Ya. It's mainly iBloom. But that's basically how you can search for squishies. Just keep using keywords, like maybe you want to put toast. I don't know if this is right, but let's try it. I'm going to need that squeeze keyword again. So this is what it gave me when I put in toast. Oh, that was one that I kind of wanted to buy and I didn't. Shoot. But it's okay. So this is basically how I found this item on Mercari. I went into Google Translate and looked up cheesecake because when I first started looking for this squishy, I didn't really know what it was called, but everyone was calling it a cheesecake. So I just put in cheesecake in Japanese on Google, and there we go. There's all the cheesecake squishies. When I first started looking for this, like last year, there were no results really. I could not find it, but nowadays, and y'all saw I managed to get one, there's just tons of listings for them, so it was fairly easy to find it nowadays, or when I went and looked for it. But this is basically it. It's fairly simple. You just kind of have to look around. You have to start getting creative, use other people's listings to see what they're calling it in the community in Japan to, you know, figure out how you should search for this item. And the neat thing about shopping with Mercari is that Buyee does have it integrated into their site. If you want to go searching on Mercari itself, again, you can use the extension on your browser to add stuff to your cart very easily. The one thing though is that all the stuff that shows up on Mercari in Buyee is stuff you can buy. If you try searching for stuff on Mercari Japan itself, you might find some items will say that you can't that it's only available in Japan, and that's because the seller probably selected some setting that says they don't really want to deal with proxies, and that's fine, but just be aware of that. You may find a listing that you're like, oh my gosh, it's the thing I've been looking for, and then you can't buy it, so it kind of sucks. But just keep a lookout for that. Other than that, there's the condition. You'll see it says shipping paid by the seller, so this would be free shipping, which is great. And then you can click on the seller and see if they have any other stuff. Hopefully y'all got some information out of that. So now let's go back to Rakuten, because when right before I was checking out, I did go back and see what I wanted to buy from what shop, and I ended up buying majority of everything from Suruga-Ya, and then this book from Rakuten. So Rakuten is kind of like Amazon, in which it's a retail shop, but also they allow individual sellers and shops. So you could be buying from an individual shop, or you can be buying straight from Rakuten like it says right here. And I prefer to buy straight from Rakuten just because I know they're going to probably offer some form of free shipping. So Suruga-Ya does have a shop on Rakuten, but I would not recommend shopping from there because they don't have as high of a selection, and you can't do the time sale. So Suruga-Ya on their main website does sales that are only available for a period of time, and they're usually really good, but they don't do that on Rakuten, and because they're using a marketplace, they probably have to pay some form of fee to be on there, so the prices tend to be higher. So let's just delete that, and this is basically what I ended up buying. Again, the journal for Izuku is not on here. And then there was like a little notepad from Toilet Bound Hanako-kun that I bought. Did not realize it said pre-order, so that is just going to show up in April at their warehouse, and I'm probably not going to pay to have it shipped over. But that's basically it. Once you have everything, you would click proceed to order page, and it would give you payment options. So here we have the standard plan, insured delivery, inspection, and light plan. So for this, I think I put light plan because it's one item, it's straight from a reputable shop. There's really no reason for them to go into the package to make sure it's okay. And that way you don't get charged extra, because they're going to charge you 300 yen just to buy an item from the shop. And that's why I said it's important to see how many stores you're buying from, because the more stores you buy from, the more those fees are going to add up. So if you can buy everything from one shop, the cost divides between all of those items, and it's just a lot more cost effective. With auctions, there's usually some type of extra bank fee that is applied because it is an auction. I'm assuming Mercari uses the same system, so they are charging an additional fee. So really, the service fee just to purchase this one item is 500 yen. Also, notifications down here saying that there may be additional domestic shipping charge, which I checked this listing already, and it said the seller is paying for the shipping costs. I guess I'll start off with the basics. So after the last session, and that's basically it. From this point on, you wait on Buyee to buy your items, then for them to arrive at their warehouse. You'll receive a series of emails throughout this entire process, one for every step. If you bought from multiple shops, then expect arrival times to be spread out. Once your items finally arrive to their warehouse, though, it's simply a matter of selecting a shipping option. Buyee will weigh all of your packages ahead of time so you know what shipping will be. But if you want to combine everything into one package, you'll need to request it and wait for them to do so before selecting a shipping option. Because of the pandemic, this step can be a bit tricky since Japan Post has pretty much canceled a majority of their services to a lot of places. Buyee still offers a nice selection though, and recently included FedEx, which is one of the more cost-effective ones for express shipping. This is the step I made many mistakes actually. The shipping options were sparse when I ordered, so I had a few back and forths, choosing to pay for extra services such as protective packing, thinking I was going to need to wait 2 to 3 months for my package to arrive by boat. In the end, Buyee offered FedEx at a much cheaper rate, and the package only took about a week to arrive. I still ended up having to pay for those services I selected, which sucks, but oh well. Learning experience during a pandemic, I suppose. Now let's move on to the haul. This box is way too big to fit in my filming space, so I'm going to open it on my bed. Let's just see how they packed it. That's mainly what I'm interested in because it'll explain why shipping was so expensive. And why this box is so big, even though I didn't really order that much. I've bought way more through other purchases. So here we have a giant stack of airbags. Oh, okay. that explains everything. So one thing to improve upon for Buyee, I think, is to reconsider what people might want from package consolidation, because in other proxies, what they would do is open all the items, not necessarily from their original packaging, but from the box that they were shipped in from the store, take them out from that box and kind of rearrange them in a separate box, a single box. But it's only the items. So what Buyee ended up doing, it looks like, is just taking the box itself and putting it in a new box. No wonder shipping was so expensive, and I really think they shouldn't do that because it doesn't make any sense. Let's start with this one. This says Rakuten on the front, so I'm assuming this is the art book. Oh, it's two things. Okay. So this must be the book, the art book from Rakuten. And I can just pull that open. And I'm just going to open everything here, and then I'll give y'all a closer look in my filming space. So there's a flyer in here that is not useful to me because I don't shop or live in Japan. And then a receipt. But here's the art book. I'm so happy to finally have this. So nice. And then this bag. It feels like the squishy from the Mercari seller. Interesting way to ship stuff. They just put it in a bag. Oh, it's still wrapped. Getting some easy one. So I have a little thank you note from the seller, and looking good. I can't wait to open that. Okay, so this big box must be from Suruga-Ya, which makes sense. Suruga-Ya does ship stuff out in large boxes. When I, told them to consolidate, I was expecting them to open the box and take the stuff out and put them, Honestly, you could have fit the art book and the squishy in this box, I'm pretty sure, and then just stuffed a bunch of those bags inside and that would have been fine. This is why I like doing these reviews for y'all, because when I started out doing proxies, or using proxies, I didn't know any of this stuff. And that was always a question that I had, because it really does affect how much you're going to pay in the end. So when there's no reviews out there of how exactly these proxies handle their services, it's really difficult. And it can make the whole experience devastating because, you don't want to spend a whole month's rent just paying for shipping. Or if you can't pay for it, you'll just suck it up and just let them keep everything you bought, which is even more devastating because the whole point is to be able to buy something that you really wanted but couldn't really find in your home country. So here is the box. If you've watched my channel before, you will recognize it. Because I have opened stuff from Suruga-Ya in the past with the box, and proxies have used that box to ship out everything when I told them to consolidate, versus, Okay, so here is a receipt of everything that I bought. It's not much. This is definitely the least I've ever bought from Suruga-Ya. Oh, actually, this is interesting. Look at how much room this has. You could have totally, come on, y'all. That's all you had to do. And I paid you $10 to do that. And instead you wasted a ton of bubble wrap and airbags to do that mess. Again, if you've watched my videos for a while and you've seen my previous Suruga-Ya hauls, you would know that generally they like to wrap everything together in plastic like this, and then it's wrapped repeatedly so that it stays, and then it's tied to a backing board in the box so nothing moves around. So usually that's why the boxes are so big. That's how they prefer to keep everything in place. No bubble wrap or anything unless there's like a very fragile item. It looks like the backing board kind of bended, and I can't tell if they like opened this or if it just ripped during transit, but some of the items fell out. So for once, this method didn't work, which is very interesting to me, but it looks like everything made it, so I don't have a problem. The stuff I bought wasn't really that fragile. So here's the squishy that I bought. Here is the 7-Eleven squishy that I bought. Here are the 2 art books. I'm sorry, 1 art book. The journal. 2 art books back here, and I'll show those later. And then a Midoriya Izuku textured figure. I'm excited to see what this looks like. There's not a lot of good My Hero Academia figures out there that I like. They all look really weird to me in 3D. And then finally, the main thing that I really wanted, which is this Nyanko-sensei black version cat mug. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to my usual and we'll start reviewing these items. So the first thing that I bought is this art book by the author of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. I just love their art style. It's the reason that I started watching the anime as well as started buying the manga volumes. It's gorgeous. I've seen this in Kinokuniya wrapped up, so I didn't get to see inside, but it allowed me to know that this existed, so I immediately wanted it. I think considering how much extra money I paid, I more or less paid what I would have paid if I had just bought it as Suruga-Ya. But nevertheless, it's in great condition. It's obviously new. I didn't buy it used off Suruga-Ya. Oh wow, all the artwork in here is so cute. And I love the colors that they utilize and their line work. I don't really have much to say, I just love it. And the way that Rakuten shipped it out was perfectly fine. I did think it was interesting that they didn't wrap it. Usually when I buy new books and stuff from Japan, they tend to wrap everything in plastic. Ah, I ripped it a little. But this was not. So I think at most, when I put it on the shelf, so this doesn't rip, I will have to put some type of plastic protective coating or something, maybe like a book jacket out of archival plastic. I've done that before, but we'll see. I love this though. And I'll just stay on the art books. Next is this one that was bought from Suruga-Ya. I don't remember the name of it, honestly. I'm pretty sure this is an anthology, so multiple artists have contributed to this. It says, Boys Illustrations inspired by the night parade of 100 demons. So this art book has a theme, which is really cool. This one is used from Suruga-Ya, so you can see some wear and tear at the top here. But that's mainly just the jacket. Ooh, actually all of these are really cool. Just flip through a little. Hopefully there's nothing risque. Lots of black and white. Interesting. And then on the back it actually shows you a list of all the artists. Unfortunately none of this is translated, so it's going to be very hard for me to try and find one if I decide to. This one's huge. So this one, also from Suruga-Ya, is Honojiro Dowoji Shiki no Memoric Poster Book. So this is an art book, but specifically of their poster works. Or just printed in a size that it counts as a poster book. And I actually found this one, I think on eBay a while back. This one also has a little wear and tear on the jacket, but it's not bad or anything. It just looks worn, like it's been on a shelf for a long time and maybe pulled out frequently. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, yeah, some of these still have like their original card inserts. I'm not sure what they are. Maybe just an identification card. Wow. Okay, this one is gorgeous. And it looks like they include some of the black and white sketches. Yeah, so that looks like a sketch, and I think I just saw the art piece to that. Oh. But I love this, and I love their character design too. There is a second book to theirs, I think, that looks like this, and I have seen it online. I actually did find it while I was looking for this one, but I thought, I'm buying too much. I want to stay on a budget, so I didn't buy it. And finally, this is the one I'm really excited for. So I actually found this artist on Twitter, and I unfortunately cannot remember their name. But I will either put it on the screen or just leave links to their pages in the description of this video. Here we have the Suruga-Ya sticker. Thankfully, it's on the bag. And this one, out of all the ones that I bought from Suruga-Ya, looks the best condition. Like the other ones, I could tell they were fairly old. I think this one is fairly new. Like it's published, wasn't published that long ago. So that could explain the condition. Oh, this one's interesting. It's left to right. Usually the books are right to left because it's, you know, Japanese. But this one's left to right. Okay. Oh, it's got something in it. Oh, this must be the little, I don't know what they call it, the little band, the book band that a lot of books have. Okay, so they kept that. That's cool. This one's really big, so it's going to be hard to show y'all, but can you see how gorgeous this artwork is? I love the bright colors, but how they still make everything look kind of dark and cool. Colors are what I struggle with a lot, so when I see a good example of artists just knocking it out of the park with their use of color, I'm really into that. So, really happy to finally have this. Also, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. So let's compare to the Hanako-san book. So yeah, that's significantly bigger. Hopefully it'll fit in my art book shelf. If it's too tall, it's a little harder to fit in there. I don't know if I recorded myself adding this to the cart, but I did end up getting this little CROQUIS Maruman Izuku Midoriya notebook. I just thought the picture of him on it was so cute. Plus Ultra. And when it comes to used notebooks from Suruga-Ya, I don't know if they actually check if any pages were torn out. Oh, this is like a sketchbook. I thought this would be kind of a notebook. Okay, so that's actually cool. I could get a plastic protective jacket for the cover and then use this as a sketchbook. So that's neat. And CROQUIS is a very common brand I've seen in Japan. I think it's probably the most common brand for school, for students. But I've seen that brand of notebook both in anime and also just looking for merchandise so much that I immediately recognize it. Okay, so the next thing here is this Mother Garden Squishy. I've been eyeing this for a long time. I'm trying not to buy too many squishies anymore just because, you know, I still like them, but the hype has kind of died down, so I can't really sell the ones I don't want as easily anymore. I kind of ruined it, but oh well. Here's a squishy. Mother Garden, Creative Tokyo. Oh, Creative Yoko. Okay. Can y'all hear that? This is Prime ASMR Squishy. That's the neat thing about Mother Garden Squishies. They're not really created to be collectibles. They're more straight up toys for children. So they're made a little denser than things we're used to, like iBloom. But that means the way that they're made, just like the paint that they use and the texture, the formula itself, is unique to them. And they just have a very satisfying squish. So I'm really happy to have this. And although this does not smell like chemicals nor anything specific, I don't think it was intended to be scented. It does have a very faint sweet smell. Probably to make sure the kids don't think it's nasty. This next one was kind of stupid, but I was curious, so I went ahead and bought it. This is one of the 7-Eleven released Squishies. I'm pretty sure this was like $4, $2 to $4 that you can buy from a 7-Eleven in Japan. I just remember one Japanese YouTuber that I frequently watched would review these, and they were just super squishy. I was surprised. I could not get my hands on one for the longest time because they were popular. But, oh, this actually has kind of a slow pop-up. Interesting. Oh, goodness. The packaging for this is just all kind of janked up because it is old. I'm not sure if they still sell these in the 7-Elevens anymore. But yeah, that explains the way it looks. So it's just a melon pan. It says, oh, it's by NIC? No way. I mean, I guess that makes sense. They make a lot of stuff for companies. It has that really matte feeling. Cafe DN made some melon pans that had this really soft matte texture because of the paint that they used. And this kind of reminds me of it. It's more dough-like and dense, but still squishy and slow rising. The one that I saw from the Japanese YouTuber I watch was a lot squishier and had a more sticky feel, but it wasn't a melon pan, it was some other type of bread. They had other ones. This is not scented, nor does it smell very good, but you don't smell it unless you put it up to your face, so that's fine. I do like the paint job though, it's very nice. Next is the Cheesecake Squishy from the Mercari seller. They included a cute little thank you sticker. I don't know what it says because it's in Japanese. I'll try to scan this. So here's a squishy. There's actually a couple versions of this. I think you guys saw during the walkthrough if you watched it. But this is the one that I've seen the most and the first kind that I saw when these cheesecakes started popping up in Japanese stores. So here's what it looks like. There's no branding on the packaging. And I'm assuming that's the brand, but I can't read it. So they said this was in very good condition, but they made it very clear that, you know, it's used and open. So please don't buy it unless you're ready for defects. And this looks perfect. The little band is in great condition. The squishy feels so soft. Wow. It's like a sponge cake on the bottom here, and then the top is glossy and smooth. Oh my gosh. So this does have a fairly fast, spongy sounding. It makes a sound when it comes up. Look. Did y'all hear that? So it's definitely spongier, which would make sense. This is, I think, fairly old. I started seeing these years ago, and I don't think they sell them anymore. So the fact that I saw a ton of people selling these on Mercari now was a surprise. But it's honestly really nice because this bottom half feels so soft. Like, it almost feels like fabric, like satin, not satin. What is that one type of fabric? Suede, I think, where it's somewhat fuzzy, but the hairs are so short that it just feels very smooth. That's kind of what the bottom part feels like. And squishing that with the top part is really satisfying. And again, there's no branding on the bottom. So this has kind of that generic common squishy smell where it's kind of like sweetbread, except this doesn't really have the chemical undertone of it. And That smell can be hit or miss for me because it might have kind of a salty smell to it. I don't know how to describe it. It's just not pleasant, but this is very nice. Very much smells kind of like one of those vanilla breads that aren't flavored too sweet at all. You barely taste the sweetness, but it's enough, you know? If I could describe a smell as delicate, that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now. But I really like this. It makes me curious about the other ones that I saw that had slightly different packaging. They must have been from a different manufacturer. And it makes me think if the quality is any different. Because I think these were made for the Crane game machines. So they weren't, you know, as common to find. Or maybe they re-released them at some point and that's why there's so many in circulation. I don't know. But I'm happy to have bought that. It's really nice. The next thing that I bought is this Izuku Midoriya figure. I have a complicated relationship with figures from My Hero Academia. Some characters can work in 3D, but for some reason Deku and Bakugo especially just look so weird in 3D form. Like the sculptors that they hire just don't really know how to translate them well into 3D and they just end up looking wacky. So it's really hard for me to be like, yeah, I want that Deku figure even though he's my favorite character. I'm not into the series enough to really want a ton of merch. I don't think I've bought anything from it. But I wouldn't mind a nice action style Deku figure. Unfortunately, all the ones where he is posing in an action-like pose, again, they just look so wacky. His mouth is open and it doesn't look good. It's just weird. So, is this new? Well, that's a nice surprise. This is new and it says licensed by Toho on the top here. So I guess I'm the first owner. That makes me feel bad because I was considering selling this as soon as I got it. So this one is unique. I think there's two versions of it, and this one is the textured version. His costume has this fabric texture, which I thought looked cool in pictures, so I'm hoping it looks cool in person. And this is by Bandai, I believe, or Band Presto, whatever. They're probably from the same company. I like opening stuff from the bottom because it's not as noticeable when you put them up. There he is, sort of. I managed to get him out without undoing that cardboard. Oh, look at him, he looks so funny. So this is, I believe, one of the kind of figures that is supposed to be similar to the Kuroko one that I have where he's just standing. These don't come with bases because they're supposed to stand on their own. But they do have this little, I don't know what to call it. It's supposed to be a balancer, I guess, just to help them stay upright in case they get knocked into. So here's the top half of him. He looks really good, actually. And the paint looks a little sloppy in some areas, but I think that adds to the character of the figure because this is a series based on comic books. So it makes it feel more authentic, I think, to the comic book style. Here's his legs. That's such a weird thing to say. And I like that this one is in his upgraded uniform, hair costume, versus his earlier ones. I think this one looks good on him. Look at him. He looks good. And yeah, his costume is definitely textured. He's going right on my manga shelf. Well, after I take a picture of the thumbnail. But there's one item before that. So the last item that I bought, I've been looking to rebuy this for the longest time. This is a coffee, well, it's just a regular mug, but it's based on the series Natsume's Book of Friends. This character is very popular from there. He's called Nyanko-sensei. And I've bought some stuff of him in the past. This is something that was released years ago, like a long time ago, so I wasn't sure if anyone was still selling them. But thankfully, Suruga-Ya had some in stock, and they had the black one. So here's the side of the box. It has some keychains. I feel like I bought that. I think I bought that at one point. Oh, that one's cute though. Okay. But then here's what the mugs look like. So I had all three. I actually bought them fairly cheap from somebody. Only $30 for all three, so $10 for each. And then I got my shipping refunded because of some issues arose, so it was even cheaper. But I gave these two to a friend, and then I kept the middle one. But my middle one I noticed has some chips in it. It's fairly old. I do use it. And it made me sad, so I want another one. I don't think this was new, but it did have tape on it. I'm going to be doing weird cuts here because my stomach keeps growling. I woke up to do this so I could have natural lighting. And so the house is quiet. Oh, there it is. He's very dusty, but once I wash him, he'll be perfect. And it's so high quality and it's so well done. I wish American companies put this much effort into their merchandise because I'm sure they'd make a lot more money. But look how cute he is. It's got that on the bottom. So imagine this, but in that version, and that's the other one that I have. Except he's chipped a little in the top, on the rim. And I think a little bit in the bottom. Just small, hardly noticeable, but I noticed it, so it bothered me. So I'm happy to finally have the pair. The snow one's cute too, but I like this one better. And that's everything that I bought in this haul. At the moment, the only criticism that I have for Buyee is the way they pack things. I think that could have been done a lot better. But overall, their website has really improved over the years. I really like how they incorporated Suruga-Ya and Mercari into the website so it's easier to search. I think their fees are very reasonable, and overall the process was very easy with them. It's very similar to other proxies that I've used in the past. I will let them know about the credit card issue. I'm not sure if that was me or just something with the website, but I did have to pay with PayPal in the end. And then obviously because of the shipping issues I was having, I ended up paying $30 more than I really wanted to. Originally, I just wanted to do package consolidation, and then I ended up having to pay for the package protection because I thought it was going to have to be shipped through a boat and take 2 to 3 months to arrive, when instead in the end it took less than a week actually through FedEx. So if I could go back and not pay for that protective packaging, I'd feel a lot better. But overall, I do like everything that I bought, and I'm happy to finally own all this stuff. I hope my tutorial also helped y'all. It was something new for me and it took a long time to do, but I hope it was informative and a good tutorial for anyone wishing to start using proxy services. COVID has made everything a lot more complicated, but I think Buyee has adapted well with introducing FedEx as a new shipping option. In the past, you had a lot of options with Japan Post, but they do ship stuff out based on dimensions in addition to weight. So now even though Japan Post is closed, you still have a very reasonable option to ship stuff out from Japan. I will leave links to Buyee's website in the description, in addition to a coupon code that they were very generous to give me of 2,000 yen. That is estimated around $20 for y'all to use if you sign up to Buyee now. I will also leave links to all these items. I will try to get a Buyee specific link for it, but if not, I'll just link the actual store, and then you should be able to copy paste that into the Buyee search engine. Once again, I hope this video was very informative for y'all and helped a few of you who were confused on the process of using proxies. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video.